I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show we have Daryl Kelly, the CEO of Limited Inc. Daryl, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking the time.
Hi Ashton, thank you very much for having me, and great to be here.
Likewise. Let's just dive straight into it. I'd love to start with a little bit on your background in blockchain and what got you interested in starting Limited Inc., and then we'll dive into all the things that your company is working with.
Yeah, perfect. So like most people, I come from a more traditional background of insurance, real estate, finance, actually all based in Barbados, which is where I was born and grew up for many years. But I was introduced to Bitcoin in 2016, and as soon as I understood the concept of digital scarcity, I was completely blown away and just thought, wow, this is going to change a lot of things. Spent the next few years kind of finding my way and educating myself and seeing how I could fit into the space. And in 2020, launched my first blockchain company called Bitcoin Movement. And it was under that company that we launched one of the world's first streetwear collections connected to the blockchain via NFC tech. So we built this technology. We did it with a UK rapper. We did 300 pieces, garments. And we put the power of authenticity in the hands of our collectors by providing them with an app that they can scan the product, and gave them proof of authenticity on the spot, and then all kinds of product information and exclusive content. And then from there, that was a success. It was great. The last 2 years, we've been building Limited Inc. on top of that, and we went live with Limited Inc. in February just gone.
Amazing. And I really do like the sort of the limited aspect, and where I'm seeing these sort of collector's items and higher price tickets. I feel like NFTs have a much more added value in those, at least to start in fashion, art, and eventually this technology is going to move into everything. But I feel like those early adopters, it's more of an added value to prove the authenticity of these things, especially ones that are exclusive and people are flipping them quickly and different things like that. So maybe you could talk a little bit about where Limited Inc. is focusing and sort of what is the main value proposition of the project right now.
Yeah, perfect. Well, you hit the nail on the head. That there's definitely that focus on the market. Digital scarcity, and the ability to prove that a limited edition is in fact limited has value. Scarcity equals value. So we've applied that logic and that technology to physical goods essentially. So our unique selling point is that basically, while 99% of the market was focused on digital-only assets, which, by the way, I love, and I'm a CryptoPunk holder, a Bored Ape, like I love that space, and I think it's the start of a whole new asset class. But for us, it was always about how do we onboard traditional collectors into Web3, and so having it something tangible was a very kind of obvious way to connect the two. And for us, putting the power of authenticity in the hands of our collectors is a really key component. So the ability to prove authenticity of a hoodie by Supreme or a piece of art by an artist. When he says, I'm only doing 100 prints, is he really doing 100 prints? Well, he is when he does it with us, because you can verify it on the blockchain. Mm-hmm. The other one is powering the creator economy. So every time one of our physical pieces sell, a royalty goes back to the artist or goes back to the brand. So if you take the StockX model and Nike, for example, Nike launch a product on StockX, it sells in the private market, it's great. They sell it for $400 a pair of shoes. Now they're selling for $2,000. But Nike are completely removed from any appreciated value gain. They don't capture any of that. With our technology, if they launched it on Limited Inc., they would capture every secondary sale and take a cut on all those sales. So for us, that's a really powerful kind of value proposition to brands and artists who want to essentially build a body of work, as opposed to constantly having to create new work essentially.
Mm-hmm. And I do love that functionality that just wasn't possible before for the royalties and sort of creator fees and chains of transactions where you can see how many times it's been traded, and the people who created it are able to recapture that value when it's totally lost. And I feel like this can be applied to a lot of industries. It's not just with like expensive shoes where they get resold for 5 times the price, but for tickets and things like that where people just buy them all up and they resell them, and it's a business in itself, just reselling. The people that are reselling it are selling it to legitimate fans that couldn't really get access, but those are the people that want it in the first place. And
absolutely.
There you go.
This is an NFC infused ticket. So we did this at NFT London. There's an NFC chip in here. It's bound to an NFT. it gives all kinds of long-term rewards to the owner, to the holder. Exactly what you're saying. Ticketing is such a big kind of space for NFT ticketing. I think it's going to be huge.
Very cool. So, what are all of the sort of categories and brands and products that you're first working with in Limited Inc. To grow the project quickly?
Yeah, so we work across a number of categories. We're focused on art, fashion, streetwear. We got into collectible toys and the collectibles market because I think it's insane in our day and age that when you buy a collectible from, let's say a pair of boxing gloves from a famous boxer, and they just hand you this piece of paper and says this is real. Well, that's crazy and then that can go as far as art and everything. It's all working on that same system at the moment. We hope to kind of take that to the next level, really Web3, that whole market. And yeah, so collectibles is a huge one. Ticketing has actually become really popular since we did our ticketing for the Wrangler event with Leon Bridges in Brooklyn. We got a lot of attention around that functionality of our software. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we've really focused in on like 4 or 5 categories. And fine art, I would say, is probably one of our biggest ones, because just applying the technology to the authenticity of art is huge.
And for these collectors that are looking to buy exclusive items, do they actually go onto the Limited Inc. site and then they purchase a physical item and it's shipped to them, like similar to Amazon, but they're also receiving the NFT at the same time? Yeah,
basically, yeah. We try to make it as easy as possible, so you can buy with credit card, and then that turns it into the Ethereum. But yeah, so essentially you go onto Limited Inc., you connect your wallet, you buy the NFT on the spot, so you immediately deposited the NFT, which is the ownership over the physical. You plug in your shipping information, and then we fulfill the physical side and we ship that out to you. And then when you get it, you scan it, and that kind of connects the two, physical and the digital NFT, and then you get to really like interact with the product and engage with it.
Very cool. And how built out do you see right now with Limited Inc. on the NFT side? Obviously, there's an added value there for the scarcity and the traceability and the royalties. Do you see that part of the technology continuing to evolve as Limited Inc. grows? And if so, how do you see that growing?
Yeah, so I think there's many ways to do it. There's we're not the only brand doing it, but we're one of probably 3 who are actually tackling this kind of what we call phygital world. I hate that word, but it does kind of really sum up the whole merging the two worlds. And we're constantly developing this software to better it. And there's all kinds of there are pitfalls in what we're all doing because it's so new, and there's a certain level of education, or this is a new space, it's new tech, so it doesn't all work perfectly at the moment. So the idea for us is to keep building on top of what we've got. I think in 5 years, it'll be very unlikely if people aren't buying trainers from Nike or handbags from Louis Vuitton that don't have a chip in them. I think it's become a huge part of brand story and how they engage with users, because I think Web3 will just infiltrate our lives. There's no way the only way this is going is up, and mass adoption is not far, it's just around the corner. So yeah, I think this tech is made for mass adoption for sure.
And based on following the NFT craze in the market since about 1 year ago was sort of the peak, when the Bitcoin market peaked as well, there was a lot of volume in NFTs, and a lot of that's since gone down. Have you seen that reflect in this niche of phygital collectibles, where people that are interested in NFTs are buying physical items off of Limited for the speculation of the NFT side of it, or do you think it's unrelated?
So I think there's a certain speculative trading connected to all NFT purchasing. I think there's two types of traders. There's what they call the degens, who are looking to scalp and flip all these NFTs, and then the market we're trying to really plug ourselves into is more the long-term collector. So more like the traditional collector who just wants to leverage or sees the benefit of a product backed by a token on the blockchain. And so we're not in any huge hurry. We create these very thoughtful collections. They're not particularly big, 100 pieces at a time. So we're not trying to change the world with, one drop, but rather tap ourselves into these communities and show the tech to people. And I think, it's only a matter of time until everyone realizes how helpful it is, really.
Definitely. And I feel like there's still a lot of large companies to come in and dip their feet into the waters in this way that your team's building the NFTs. Now, if large companies come in, or say that you want to expand into new product lines, do you actually have to work with Nike per se, and you make a primary market sale where, instead of the shoes going on StockX, they're going on limited, and you're working with them? Or are you able to take any products and sort of attach NFTs without the creator's consent?
No, so the way we work is to work with the creator. We're not really trying to authenticate products for the sake of it. We're trying to really kind of change a shift in customer behavior and creator behavior, and that is by both parties, I suppose, utilizing the technology. So we'd work with the creator, we'd look at what IP they already have. If they don't have anything appropriate, we'd work with them to create something, conceptualize a project that really fits their brand. And the Wrangler one's a great example. We worked with a one-of-one physical denim jacket and jeans. We infused NFC technology in it. We created kind of content by Leon Bridges, which is infused in the product. So it's a really kind of like thoughtful, hands-on, crafted project, and that's kind of how we like to work. So look at the brand, see what really fits them. We're not here for the short term. We're here for the long term to kind of really craft these cool stories. And I know there's kind of a line out in the Twitter sphere that NFTs are for storytelling, but I mean, realistically, when you do what we do, it really is. The whole story lives within the product. That when you scan it, you then go through that whole story, and it lives with it for its entirety.
Definitely, and it's definitely an added value over the piece of paper. But one question I have is, if the physical items get moved around or stolen, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of the digital version and the physical. When you have the piece of paper, you can have them side by side and be like, these go together, but sometimes the digital can get lost. I'm curious if you've seen this in the industry, or if this is something that will be emerging, is that as you showed with the ticket and sort of having a NFC built in that has the NFT sort of integrated into the product. Do you think that will happen with the clothes or the shoes or tickets, where the scannability to the digital world is actually integrated into the physical product?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, to be honest, that denim jacket has a chip in it. This hoodie has a chip in it. This fine art print, which is one of our products, this has a chip under the label. So all of these this is what we do. We integrate NFC technology into physical products across fashion, art. So yeah, I think exactly that. I think this is the way that people will, I don't think kids will be buying shoes in 5 years unless they're able to scan it and verify that it's a real pair of Nikes, that it's got a story embedded by the collaborator, whoever that basketball player is or whatever that is, because there's such a cool way to engage with the product that I can't see it not sort of becoming the kind of standard for certain brands. I mean, it's not for everybody. It has a certain threshold, but I think this is certainly something that a lot of brands will gravitate towards, especially like in the luxury sort of space as well.
Very cool. And you keep talking about long-term vision, which I think is great. Maybe you can talk about where you see Limited Inc. In the space, 3 years from now, and what that looks like. Yeah.
Well, ideally, we are trying to build a trusted ecosystem that basically creates a safe place for traders, for collectors to come and know that they're going to be able to buy an NFT or an authentic physical piece of art, fashion, whatever that might be, from the creator that we're saying they're buying it from. So we're essentially an anti-counterfeiting mechanism as well. So, the idea of really this whole black market, I believe, can be solved with sort of some part of what the tech that we're building. Like I said, there are certain pitfalls that we're all overcoming with it, but it works. And I think the idea really is just to build a global, seamless, frictionless trading platform where people can trade with trust and know that they're buying an authentic piece of art, of fashion. Ticketing, I mean, there's a huge problem with ticketing authenticity. There's so many problems with just authenticity at the heart of it, and really, like, our tech can be applied to multiple ways, really.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to that revolution. And for the viewers that want to see what are the current products that are available and what's coming up next, what's the best way to follow along with Limited?
Yeah, just our domain. I suppose our Twitter is probably our most active. So that's Limited.INC, LTD _official. So that's our Twitter and Instagram, or our website, which is LTD.INC.
Sounds great, Daryl. I will leave those links in the description box below to make it easy for the viewers as well. Thank you so much for the insight into the digital collectibles and where it's going. It's a fascinating future, and I'm looking forward to it. All the best with Limited.INC moving forward, and let's follow up in the near future.
Likewise. Thank you, Ashton. Appreciate it.